Welcome back, my foamers and foamettes. Today we're doing something extra special. We are going to be making a tier list for Foamstars Season 1. I don't know if Season 1 was technically the beta and this is Season 2. You know what? It doesn't matter. We're making a tier list for this season and I'll be popping one out every single season, so make sure you subscribe, that way you don't miss any. But hold up, wait a minute, let me put some foam up in it. I'm gonna set some boundaries for this tier list so we know what we're rating the characters on in the first place. Number 1 is going to be the entry barrier for that character. Is it hard to get into? Is it easy to get into? Number 2 is going to be based on how well they perform on every mode in every map. Number 3 is going to be based on how much effort you need to put into the character for it to succeed at what it wants to do. Those are the 3 parameters. Let's hop up into the list. So first up we have Soa. Soa is a relatively easy character to play and she's very good at everything. If you want to learn more about the characters as well as tips and tricks on how to play them properly, I'm making a character overview guide and that's going to be coming out tomorrow. So again, make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss any of this juicy content. But as I said, Soa's just really good at everything and there's not a lot of downsides to Soa. One of the main struggles that she will have is her range. She's very close range of a character, but that being said, the fact that her shots are very easy to hit, she has an escape tool, and she's very versatile, she's very bobby and weavy, she's able to really do what she wants to do. I'm gonna put her at S. It's a very easy S because again, she's really good at all the modes, she's good at all the maps. Yes, there's some disadvantages to some maps, but overall, she's pretty solid of a character. The next character we have is Agito, and man, he is the bane of my existence. I like the character, don't get me wrong, but boy, you Agito players be getting on my Agito nerves, for real. This character is solid. Good at everything. Pretty much like an assassin is what you're looking at when you look at an Agito. They're very good at flanking. They're very good at jetting towards you and fighting you. They're very good at trading with you, and they have tons of damage. And on top of that, it's hard to miss. So as long as you're next to the person, you can kind of eliminate them in a span of like 1 to 2 seconds. You can eliminate them before they know you're there. Agito is the type of character where if I don't see them on the map and I'm scanning everywhere, I'm pretty sure as soon as I turn around, I'm dead. So sometimes it's one of them things where he's gonna jump scare you and you just rather not look. That's all I'm gonna say. Agito is definitely solid. I really like the character. I like the design. I like everything about him. He's very mobile and I definitely think he goes into S as well. I still feel Soa is better than Agito just because she's easier to play, and on top of that, she's much more versatile than him, but they still are pretty close. The next character we have is Tonix. This is one of my favorite characters to play. She's awesome. She's really cool. She's one of those characters where if you don't like playing the game, you can put other things on the map to play the game for you. Like, she's very strategic, and I like her. I like her that way. One of the downsides to Tonix is that everything that she has can be destroyed, and so you really got to be mindful about where you're putting things. The entry barrier to this character is pretty thick because not only do you have to learn how to play Foamstars, but you also have to learn how to play Tonix. Where are you going to put your stuff? When's the best time to use your stuff? And for that, I definitely think she's a B. Now hold on, I know some of you guys might be like, well, Tonix is... Look, we already set the parameter, and I also will say that every character in this game is great if you know how to use them, but that's not the parameters that we're looking at. It's very hard to fight anybody up close, and if they destroy all your gear or if you use it incorrectly, you're not going to be able to have a good time with Tonix unless you're a god at playing Tonix, which is exactly why she's B in my opinion. The next character we have is Jet Justice. Now this is my personal favorite character. I love me some Jet Justice. Jet Justice is the type of character that has a tool for every single thing in the game. The problem with that though, just like any other game, when a character is good at everything, they're never great at anything. So yes, Jet Justice has a tool in his kit for everything, but he doesn't do anything amazing. And on top of that, you will need to know how to play Jet Justice and the situations. Just because a character has a lot of tools doesn't necessarily mean they'll perform well. It's up to the player to learn how to use them. It's like a calculator. You can give a calculator to anybody to solve math problems, but if they don't know how to do it right, they're not gonna be able to solve those math problems. That's Jet Justice. I also want to say when it comes to Happy Bath Survival, he's not that great at it, and so we're gonna put him at B. I think that Jet Justice is actually better than Tonix because he's actually easy to play, he's just hard to master. But also he struggles with a lot, and if the player doesn't understand what exactly they need to do to make him successful, he won't be successful. And so that's why I think he's B. It hurts my soul because I love the character, but you know, that's just how it is. The next character on our list is Mel T. Now this is a character that almost everybody likes. I like me some Mel T, and I like her in the story as well. Mel T is the type of character for someone who wants to do heavy artillery from afar or about mid-range and they don't really want to get into the thick of the fight. They really just want to support their team and just kind of watch over the map and focus on what they can do to help out. That's the type of character that Mel T is, and I think that she's very good at it. But Mel T kind of falls in a similar position as Jet Justice, where you're gonna have to learn how to use her kit in order to play her properly. A lot of Mel T players that don't know how to use her kit, you can easily tell that they're lackluster because she requires that forethought, she requires that knowledge. That being said, her attacks are homing, which means all you gotta do is look at the target and your attacks will home. Now the bright side to this is that if the player is good, they know how to dodge your stuff. If the player is poor, they don't know how to dodge your stuff. So it's kind of a gamble. Once you get better at Mel T though, you're gonna learn the distances you need to shoot in order to make sure all your shots hit. But I think Mel T deserves to be an A tier. If her kit was easier to use, if she was able to battle you up close, then she would be higher. But for right now, Mel T sits right there because she's not really the type of character you can just take over a game with by yourself. And she doesn't actually work in all maps. She's better at long range. She's better at being up high. And if the map is very condensed or there's a lot of areas where they can get to her, she's gonna have a very, very hard time. The next character is the Baristador. Now this character is a special place in my heart because I actually like the Baristador a lot. That was like one of the characters that I gravitated to the most. Ah, the Baristador. Man, there's always that one character in every single game where it's like, I don't even know how to say this. It's like you have to be a god to even play them okay. Like the Baristador will punish you for even playing average. You need to play above average for a Baristador to credit you at all. And so his abilities require a lot of skill, his kit requires a lot of forethought. Nothing is easy with this character. His damage is a little bit lackluster, but he can control the battlefield. He can contest an objective like a god. But again, that is a character that requires a lot of attention and a lot of hours into a game. And if you're looking to get into a character and just play and start winning, that's not gonna be the character for you. You're gonna struggle a lot because he lacks a lot for the solo carry type of gameplay that a lot of people might like. Is he a bad character? No, but I still think he deserves to be in C because he really only thrives if his team is good. He really only thrives if his team understands how to play with him. But also, he only thrives if you're good at him. So that's a double whammy. You gotta be good, they gotta be good, and you guys have to work all together. That's a lot to put into on this character. So design-wise, character's amazing. Design-wise, all the characters are amazing. Trust. But if you're looking at the parameters that we stated before, right? If we're looking at the entry barrier, how hard is it to play them? If we're looking at the usefulness on each map and on each game mode, if we're looking at the parameters of how much effort you need to put into the character for them to even function properly and do what they want to do, the Baristador is definitely going to be in C. The next character on our list is Rave Breaker. Now, Rave Breaker, ooh, Rave Breaker. Rave Breaker, if you want to, oh my God. Okay, so Rave Breaker is interesting because Rave Breaker doesn't play Foamstars like all the other characters. Rave Breaker plays how he wants to play, and I think they did a good job on making sure that that is the case. Rave Breaker, in my opinion, is good and bad at the same time. And let me say that again. He is good and bad at the same time. What do I mean by that? Well, his R1 that has mines going to the ground, they can be destroyed. And so you have to not only time it right, but you also have to make sure that you put them in the right spots because again, they can be destroyed just by the simplest thing. If you struggle with Rave Breaker or any other character, remember that character overview guide is coming out tomorrow where I go over every single character, give you tips and tricks and whatnot, and really help you learn how to get into the mode of playing that character. But with Rave Breaker, that's one of his main flaws is that the fact that you're gonna have issues with the mine if you don't use them properly, you're basically out of an ability. Also, his ultimate requires you to have, again, forethought. He's not a character that is going to just throw out everything and be good. That's just not how he works. But it's not hard to learn how to play him. He's very easy to learn once you get about 2, 3, 4 games in. You'll know kind of what you should and what you shouldn't do, at least enough to get him to function properly. And for that, I think he deserves to be an A. seriously, this character is great, but you are gonna have to think kind of outside of the box to play him, and I think that's a really good character choice design, especially for how the character behaves. He is crazy. Last but not least, we have Gwyn, another bane of my existence. This character is designed for gamers. If you play Call of Duty, if you play Fortnite, if you play PUBG, if you play any shooter in history, this character is for you. She has a great skill set. She has great damage. She has great range. And I think one of the things that make her really good is the fact that she is simple. The more simple a character is, the more the player understands the exact function of that character, the exact job of that character. That character is in essence a shooter character, and therefore anyone who plays it that is very accurate with aiming will dominate. This character is undoubtedly one of the best characters in the game, and I honestly think it might need a nerf because they do so much damage and they have so much liquid without running out. But just because I made a tier list doesn't mean I'm right. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Would you move anybody? Do you guys agree, disagree? I want to know. But based off my experience of 30+ hours, based off my experience playing casuals, based off my experience playing ranked, this is what I feel is the best tier list based off my personal experience. If this video helped you figure out which Foamstar you want to get into, make sure you studs up that like button so that other Foamstar players can get just as much information as you and make an educated choice on which they want to put their time into. Until next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys are doing what? Popping off. We're off.